What is poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another YouTube video. And today we're taking a look at something I wish I never watched. Something which has caused me to rethink my choices of being an advocate for DC. And I'm going to be honest, it's very hard sometimes. It's very hard sometimes to defend DC. But this is our first movie of 2024 that I am reviewing, and it is DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1 animated TV show. And I'm going to be honest. I didn't enjoy it. And I do believe the CW did it better. And if you do want to learn my thoughts and opinions, you just got to wait a little bit, because we are going into the first segment of the video where we take a look at what Google has to say about this series. And it is only part 1. I don't know how many parts this film franchise is going to have, but I genuinely hope they keep it down to like 2 or 3, because I don't think I can sit through another 2 hours of this shit. However, Google says the Anti-Monitor, the Monitor's evil counterpart, is released into the DC multiverse and begins to destroy the different Earths that compose it. The Monitor attempts to recruit heroes from across the multiverse to fight back. Right, I'm going to be honest, the Anti-Monitor, I don't remember seeing him at all in this. I'm going to be honest, I don't remember seeing him one single time. I'm questioning if he was even in it, but apparently he was. Apparently he was the one that sent the antimatter wave. But how this film starts is the Flash is just doing the Flash, being the Flash, and for whatever reason, he is hopping from different time period to time period. He is hopping through his life very weirdly, and he goes to a cafe, he has dinner with Iris, then he hops to saving Superman, fighting a weird android. Then he jumps back to running around, racing, shopping with Iris. Then he jumps to Earth 3, where Evil Flash, or Johnny Quick, is robbing a bank, and the crime syndicate arrive. And then he jumps to his marriage, and then the Monitor actually picks him up. That is like the first 50 minutes of the film. What the fuck? We then have the Monitor recruit a load of different heroes. Batman, Dick Grayson, Huntress, Amazing Man, very shit name I know. Blue Beetle, Cyborg, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Superman, another Superman, a load of different heroes from a load of different worlds, and there is so many. There is so many. Black Lightning, I would be here all day if I was going to name them all. And they get to work trying to stop this antimatter wave, which is going through the multiverse, destroying dimensions and worlds. The reason why they've picked people from Earth to come and fight is because Earth is always the first planet to get destroyed. Also, this antimatter wave isn't based around time, so you can't go back in time to stop this, and you can't go forward in time to try and think of a solution. However, that gets thrown out the window very soon, because the Flash jumps through time yet again, back to his wedding, and then back to Earth 3, where he's being interrogated by the crime syndicate, jumps back to a homeless man talking to him and how he's created the Justice League, and he was the one who came up with the idea. Then he hops back to Earth 3, and the crime syndicate try and punch the antimatter wall and die. He then jumps back to the spaceship. For whatever reason, he can do that, and he brings everyone coffee and explains that the antimatter place is real. And yeah, they all believe him. They all start getting to work saying, hey, if you can jump from all the different dimensions, you vibrate. Oh, we should make all the planets vibrate to go through the antimatter wall. So they then go to Earth, build a giant tuning fork, and unfortunately, the antimatter wave knows what they're doing and speeds up. So, the Flash, being the Flash, slows down time, which apparently the antimatter wave was supposed to not be affected by. But it is, and practically freezes in place. Barry spends the next 50-60 years with Iris having the planet to themselves, trying to finish the tuning fork building on their own with the robot Amazo. They build it. They finish it. Iris dies of old age. And they restart time or continue it anyway. Flash then runs on this treadmill to power up the tuning fork. It vibrates through every other dimension and multiverse, and the antimatter wave passes straight through. How? What the fuck? Whoop-de-doo, they managed it. Don't know how, but they did. Massive plot hole. The Flash is really old. A random person starts talking to the monitor, saying, hey, it's not over. A load of our heroes turn to dust and disappear, because apparently the antimatter wave was important and was supposed to have created some stuff. And, oh no, without the antimatter wave, half of us have failed to exist, so we're turning to dust. And then we have someone come and pick up the Flash and take him away. That's where the movie ends. Someone takes Old Man Flash away. So, I have no idea. This movie, genuinely, is shit. There is so many plot holes. The Flash jumping through time periods, some of it is completely irrelevant. Some of it we didn't need to see. Some of it was so boring and jarring, and the transition between worlds seemed like he was doing it intentional because he was running. So it looked like he just started running and dashed through the portal to change time when it was supposed to be an involuntary thing. So I feel like the transition between the time periods could have been done a little bit better, because it also looked like he was swapping worlds and dimensions as he was running. It didn't look like a time travel thing, and that's just like the design. And talking about design, some of the heroes in that hall of like the think tank hall, whatever, the like group collection, some of those designs were stolen. There's fan artists all over Twitter, all over like Instagram, wherever else you find out, Pinterest and stuff like that, of people redesigning costumes and then having them stolen by DC and put into this movie. So the art team have just stolen a load of people's designs. I'm going to be honest, the designs and the art style of this is pretty shit. The black outlines of each character change throughout each frame. Sometimes they're really thick, sometimes they're really thin, and it's the very similar art style to Archer on Netflix. And with that art style, it all looks very stiff, all looks very clunky, and it just looks like an ugly art style and something that I don't really want to watch. It's not visually appealing. It's a very ugly, very distracting art style. And with the outline of the characters constantly changing, like between thick and thin, you don't know if it's supposed to be a different version of that character from a different universe, or if it is just the lines going thicker or thinner for whatever reason. There is no explanation to it. And I'm going to be honest, it was very clunky and it was very strange. They were very stiff. The movements were stiff. And how Flash was running was stiff. It just didn't look good at all. Voice acting was decent. That was the only thing this movie had good. The voice acting. They had some good voice actors. Animation, crap. Story, confusing with plot holes. It wasn't visually like, you know, how stories usually tell you through vision and visuals. They tried that, completely missed the mark, and made it confusing. I don't see why the Flash had to like hop through time periods to explain this story. You could have done one linear thing and it would have made a lot more sense and been a lot more clear. But because he phased through like World 3, his timeline was messed up and he's just been jumping between his life, points in his life. Again, confusing as fuck. I thought every time he hopped, he was going to a different universe. They didn't make it clear that it was like a time-related thing until later on in the movie, like towards the end. So it was, again, very confusing and very, I don't know. I just think this movie's shit. There is no redeeming qualities about this movie. I'm trying to find good things to say. I'm happy that it was about the Flash. I'm happy we got some lesser-known characters to have a little bit of screen time, like Amazo Man or Blue Beetle or Huntress. But I cannot defend DC anymore. I'm sorry, this movie's shit. I have to give it 4 out of 10. I'm not watching this again.